Yes. Catch them unaware. Of course. I'll set the trap. I'll draw them in. You take their flank. Right. Hit them from two sides. It's us or them! Cut them down!
Hey guys, welcome back. We are playing the new Irelia today. So Riot nerfed the early game. They lowered her base health, her MR, the attack speed and damage you get from the passive. But in exchange, she's going to scale much better. She's insanely strong late game, this new version. You only need 4 stacks to fully stack up that passive, guys, so you can stack it up much faster, so it's a lot easier to play around. But you do deal less damage in the early game with your Q as well. So she's not as oppressive as she used to be in the early stages of the game. Another cool thing they did, guys, is the W. It's pretty much a nuke right now. They added huge AP scaling on it, so it's going to deal a lot of damage. So you don't only use it for a quick W onto the minion wave anymore, you can also use it for damage. And it also reduces the damage you take from magic damage now. So that's pretty much how it was when they first reworked Irelia, but they ended up taking it away and now it's back again. So now it works against physical and magic damage as well. On top of that, it has huge base damage and it also scales insanely well because they added, I think it was 120% AP scaling or something. It's crazy. And of course it also has AD scaling, so it's going to be pretty insane in the later stages. Your E is pretty much the same thing, but they did take out some a part that took skill to use, so no matter how you use it now, it's always going to be delayed by 0.25 seconds. Before it was based on the travel distance, now it will always be 0.25 seconds, no matter how you use it, so you can't use those instant E's anymore. You know, you used to throw the first one behind the opponent, and then the second one right ahead of him, and then it used to come out instantly, but you can't do that anymore. Got a couple kills right here, so that's awesome. So early game Irelia, you still do a lot of the same things, but you have to be a bit more careful now because you are much more vulnerable because you have lower base HP, but she is way stronger in the late game now, guys. Is insanely OP. You just need to get level 13, that's why she really starts shining as a champion, because she gets even more stats now in the later stages. And that's something you can really notice once you hit level 13. So Wit's End is really OP right now, and because we are playing against an AP champion in the mid lane, it is the perfect item we can start with. I showed Blade of the Ruined King in the build screen, but always build according to your opponent. We will still be using the same build, but because we are playing against an AP champion, then we can go for the Wit's End, okay? If you don't, then you can still go for Blade of the Ruined King. But Wit's End is really OP right now, so... And you can't really kill Irelia anymore because she also gets magic reduction on her W, and with Wit's End she has so much defensive stats that you can't really do anything as a mage or AP assassin. Look at that W damage, that's absolutely insane. That's just unreal, and this is only in the early game. Just wait until this ability is fully maxed out and you have some damage, then it's gonna nuke people. But you still play around stacking up that passive, guys. Since it is only 4 stacks, it's a lot easier to play around now, but do keep in mind that her early game is a lot weaker than what it used to be because they moved that power into the later stages. She's a lot more beginner friendly in the sense that people who want to learn Irelia and master her, it's a lot easier to do that now. Oh, and her ultimate. So the new thing about the ultimate is the fact that it has a passive now that will permanently reduce your Q. Like permanently, and that's before ability haste. So what that means is that at later stages in the game, even if you mess up your Q and don't get the reset, it's still going to be on a really low cooldown. So she is less punishing to play. So they pretty much made it so she takes less skill to play. Still, you can still go for kills early on and such once you have your ultimate, but not as strong anymore. You need to plan it out better. You can't just fully stack your passive and then run the opponent down. That's only going to work if they're super low HP and they don't have any mobility. Because now they can also burst you down because you have lower base HP, but your health growth is better now. It is improved, so of course you are going to be tankier later on. Also, you're not able to use your E while you're CC'd anymore. You used to be able to do that, Zoe can also do that, but they took it away from Irelia. So a lot of the things that took skill to use to play Irelia, pretty much gone. She's still hard to play, but a lot easier than before. So the first point in your ultimate, guys, is going to permanently reduce the cooldown of your Q by half a second, 0.5 seconds. And then at level 16, it's going to reduce it by 2.5 seconds. And this is all before ability haste comes into play, so that Q is going to be on a really low cooldown and it will not be as punishing anymore to actually miss it. So Irelia scales really well now. Before she used to be this super oppressive champion in the laning phase that relied so much on stomping the opponent, then brute force her way into the enemy base and end it from there, but now she's weaker early game. But she's a lot better in the late mid to late game. The build is pretty much still the same. But now that she has so much more attack speed later on, guys, you can go for this on-hit build. You can go for Wit's End, you know, Shield Bow, Kraken Slayer, whatever you prefer. Shield Bow is really good. And then you can also go for the Ginsel's Rage Blade that is going to improve your DPS by so much. They pretty much become pretty much a hyper carry. And because she has damage or magic damage reduction on her W now, then she can also be insanely good against AP champions who know mages and especially AP assassins. So she can be a really good counter pick to those AP assassins now, so that's also an option when you play Irelia and you want to counter a really annoying AP champion in the mid lane, then you can play Irelia. That W is pretty much going to nullify all of the damage. We do have the Witsend now though, and as I said earlier on, it is incredibly good right now. Just the item, and it's even better of course if you can play against an AP champion in the mid lane, especially if it's an assassin, because they rely so much on snowballing in the early game and you can deny that with this item. Katarina is going to deal 0 damage to you guys. Just absolutely destroy her. You have to get used to the new E though, because the delay between these two blades is always going to be the same now, so you can't make it come up faster anymore. So that is something you have to get used to if you played the old Irelia.
Told the worst jokes.
Katarina is playing it so safe. She's staying at her tower, so we can just keep the wave here. Try to force her to walk up, and then maybe we can look for a kill. But this new Irelia, you don't really have that much kill pressure compared to the other one. So just looking to farm it up. Get level 13, you get level 13, then you can 1v9 the game, guys. Because at that point you have a lot more attack speed than what the old Irelia could possibly get. I had to flash out here because Nocturne delayed the second part of his ultimate, so I thought he was going for somebody else. It's a bit unfortunate that we did not get Nocturne as well, but I saw that Shen ultimate coming in and apparently Darius stopped it. I did see it too late though, so that's why he escaped, and we also did not have an ultimate up. But it's the same deal with Irelia. Whenever you fight, you try to stack up that passive first. It's only 4 stacks now, so it's a lot faster. When that passive is ready, you try to get a stun with your E guys, and then you can jump in, play around those Q resets. Make sure to keep enemy minions at low HP so you can constantly dash around, and if somebody ganks you, then you always have minions to, you know, jump to and escape. Also, don't be surprised if you see AP Irelia builds popping up, because that W is just crazy. Like, that damage is unreal. Even now, where we don't really build AP, we still have a lot of damage on it. And just imagine how much damage it actually has when you build AP, because it has 120% AP scaling as well. On top of that, already ridiculous 80 scaling. So maybe we could start seeing some hybrid builds pop up, just the for fun builds. This build is still the core build though. If you want to play her in a real game, in ranked games and so on, then this is what people like to use and what actually works.
Turret plating will soon fall.
We did not get Sarah, but that was a really good roam as well, so we got 2 people. We got the jungler, so that should be a free dragon for us. We are building towards the shield bow, because that makes your 1 versus 1 a lot better. You also get that extra shield on it, so you are able to tank a lot more, and then you also get sustain.
Their weapons are great, but our will is great.
You can also get tier 2 boots at this point. It really depends on what you prefer. Do you want the damage first, or do you want something defensive? It could be because the opponent is snowballing or they have a really fat jungler, for example. Then you can just rush the boots as well. Don't know where Nocturne is on the map. So when you push out the wave and you don't have anything to do, you can walk into the enemy jungle, set up vision, or you can also roam. Typically you roam to the bot side though, because that's where the squishy champs are. Look at that W damage. We only got the kill because that W damage was increased, but that Shen ultimate actually screwed us over pretty hard, so that sucks a bit. But as you can see, you can really notice the difference on your W. It's going to deal a lot more damage when you let it fully charge. Our top lane is winning though, as he should in this matchup. Darius was also buffed this patch, so he should also be a lot better. He should definitely be back into the meta. He was really weak when they nerfed Stride Breaker, took out the dash from it. That's what really messed him up. So they buffed him again this patch, and yeah, he's definitely super good again. Now you go for plays, guys, always play around the passive, try to get that E snipe off. You can also get that ultimate, but when you play against something like Katarina who has blinks and so on, then do not waste your abilities until you baited that out. You can fake engages just to bait it out, and then you can re-engage afterwards. Just don't waste your skill shots when the opponent have any kind of movement ability up. And we got that double buff back, so that's awesome. We can just AFK push mid lane here. And we got the tower as well. Mid game started and we are almost level 13. That's why she becomes way stronger than the old Irelia. Had two people coming into the mid lane, that's why I'm calling for Darius right now, because Nocturne will come from this side. So if he engages onto me, then Darius could come in, but he showed himself, so now he's not going to engage. Lyra's plants are actually really useful for you because your Q is going to one-shot it, so it's just there to give you free stacks, so that's a really fast way for you to stack up that passive. Really useful in team fights, because she will be spamming the plants and you don't always have minions around you. You can go ahead and get the shield bow. The build is still 100% the same as the one I showed in the start of the video. We're just doing it in a different order, so now we got the shield bow, so now we can build towards the Blade of the Ruined King. And Witch Sand is also really oppressive against AP champions in the mid lane, so you can always rush that as your first item on Irelia.
I did not like Medina's lantern. I don't want her to see this slow.
I'm gonna go bot here because I'm pretty sure a big fight is about to start. People are missing on the map and we do see Nocturne right now, so we were right and that's why we are here in time. Got the Wayne. Look at that shield we are getting from the shield bow. So it actually ended up saving us, and this is also why it's so important to have this level of game awareness and map awareness, because we did not see them on the map, but we knew that something was about to happen in the bot lane, so we ignored our lane mid and just walked straight bot. That is what ended up winning this fight, so now we're actually snowballing.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Okay, I'm warmed up. Strike fast. And without
The E is a lot easier to dodge for the opponent now because there is that delay and it's the same no matter how you use it, so there's actually counterplay to it right now, because previously it almost came out instantly if you used it right, and when you play against immobile champions then it's almost impossible to miss. So she is strong in late game and there's also more counterplay to her in the early game. We're getting all the objectives, so it is going extremely well for us right now. We just have to focus down the remaining objectives. And this is a very bad fight to take because we don't have our team with us, so I just had to back off here and really try to force more than what we have to, because otherwise they can just turn that into a Baron. They have Wayne with Kraken Slayer guys, so he's just gonna melt the objectives.
Where they fell, freedom grew.
The passive change feels really nice. The fact that you only need 4 stacks to max out the passive, and then that ultimate passive is also nice because it gives you a really low cooldown on your Q, so even if you misplay in the later stages, it is still going to be on a very low cooldown.
Oma, Own, Kai, Little Rue. None of them ever had a chance.
We want to be in the Sideland if possible, guys. Get gold and XP for ourselves. We don't want to share this for no reason. We don't have teleport up though, so we can't be split pushing the entire game. Typically you just go to the Sideland to push out 1 or 2 waves and then you just regroup with your team. And if nothing happens, then you walk back into the Sideland, the wave should be pushing back. And then you pretty much just repeat like that. That Sarah just got 1 shot. Wayne is getting away, unfortunately. And we got the Shen as well. But we have a couple of people dying. Israel also got the Wayne, so that's perfect. So we can just push mid here. Look at that sustain. Look how insane that sustain is. You just need half a wave, guys, and you're back to full HP. And you have so much attack speed now compared to the old Irelia with a fully stacked passive. So you can also push down objectives insanely fast. Darius also got the bottom side, so their base is open. That's nice, and so what we have to do now, the correct play, is just to recall, get the items, and then we can set up a play around the Baron, take down the Baron, and then we can just end it from there. Red buff is up, so Israel should go for it.
Gives life as it takes it, much like the spirit. You do not know burden until you've seen 1,000 people hanging on your every.
So once you have the skin source, guys, because it's going to turn that crit into more on hit. Then of course it's also going to amplify your on hit damage because you're going to do that twice. Every couple auto attacks, so when you have this item, that's when you become a hyper carry. W damage feels so nice, you can really use that to last hit people with. Baron is down, so we can go mid or top side right now. The safest option would be to go top because we already took down mid and bottom side, but we can also go for a team fight. Thing is, Israel is not here with us, so. But we have to greet once in a while. Yeah, we trolled a bit. I actually ran it down here. We should just have waited for Israel and then we could end as a team. But we had to limit test once in a while so we really get to know what the champion can do. This Israel is really good though. Just not very often I get a good AD carry, so that's always nice to see. So now we just wait until everyone is respawned and then we just regroup and then we can end it as 5.
The spirit revives me.
You can probably also build tanky items on Irelia, you know, this stance, frozen heart and such. You can easily build that, so if you need more defensive stats later on, if you get one shot, then you can go for that instead of Ginsu's. That also works. You can go for pretty much anything you want on this champion now. I mean, even AP items, even though it's for fun build, it still works much better now because he has higher AP scaling.
We are the children of the first lands, and we will not be slaves.
So we just have to group mid and then we go for one team fight and that should be it. We have the Baron minions as well, so we can also just push it in. You can use your W to put the minions to low HP, but now you want to really save it if possible because it will reduce physical and magic damage. So it really can end up saving you, and of course it also has super high damage. Team fights, go for the carries, you know, try to flank them, get that ultimate off so you can slow them down. And just one shot that Vayne. And that should be it. So that was it. I hope this was helpful. As always, see you guys in the next one.